We'll hear from myself, Steve Kahn, and of course, Ruben. He's in the mix. And yes, he's washing his car as usual. Quickly, let's get into the meat of the matter. Let's see what's happening on the highways and on the byways. It was heavier coming into Port of Spain this morning than yesterday, and it reflects on our traffic this morning. Approaching Piaco Light, you've got some traffic, well, as well as Maloney Lights, volume Trin City to UE, and then the interchange towards Barataria. Then you'll speed up, and just before swim call, you'll step on your break. All right, head out San Fernando, see what's going down there. Nothing really to tell you about. You got some traffic by Chase Village heading towards Sugarguanas. And just after Sugarguanas is volume heading towards the interchange. Kelly Village, you've got some traffic as well. And don't forget the new traffic layout out by Diego Martin. So keep mindful of that. There is a traffic light now just after West Shore. So be mindful of that. All right, after you pass that traffic light, there's no traffic lights again heading to the west. None. So I understand, all right? But let's do some hellos this morning, and then I'll check our weather forecast. First off the gate this morning, we got Ray out in West Palm Beach, Florida. Good morning, Power Breakfast crew. Have a blessed day ahead. Thank you so much, Ray. Followed by Trev in Arima. Kenny, you woke up late. Yeah, you came in third. Good morning to Ken E. Garcilia. Out in Valencia. Oliver Man Warren, Sankofa, good morning. D. Pierre, Carol Guevara, Miss Ingrid, Charmaine from Arima, good morning. Ms. Maloney, Maria Marva, good morning, guys, and belated birthday greetings to my cousin Anthony and Anne-Marie Tinto. They were on the 6th and 7th. Okay, so happy belated birthday, guys. And Rena Booth Jennings, CG from New York, just stepped in. What's the weather going to be like for today in Trinidad and Tobago? Well, it's a warm one, 26 degrees at both Piarco and 26 at Crown Point. And let's see if the Met Office has updated. I didn't check again. I always forget that. Yep, they have not updated their weather, but they're pretty much saying it's going to be sunny, hazy, and windy with a chance of an odd shower. A significant concentration of Sahara dust is present in the atmosphere. And let me tell you, I'm feeling it this whole weekend and yesterday and today. I'm definitely feeling that Sahara dust. Checking some temps across our listenership, see what's happening across there. I work my way back. Washington, D.C., you warm at 17, Tampa 20, London 16 and cloudy, Atlanta 19, New York double digits, 13 degrees there, Paul. Orlando 19, Miami 23. All right. So good morning to you, Pablo. What's happening?
Morning, Steve. Morning, everyone. Yes,
Morning,
yesterday was
morning.
actually quite nice by mid-morning into afternoon.
Yeah.
It was like a normal Trinity, pretty warm by midday.
Yeah.
I think today is going much. A little rain in the evening, a slight drizzle.
Mm-hmm.
I went running in the rain.
You. That's it, folks. He's going to come back with the sniffles.
No, it was
He's
warm. It was quite warm, actually.
Let's see. Anybody want to bet me two doubles? Anybody want to bet me two doubles? He's going to come back with the sniffles.
Why
Anybody?
don't you better diet?
Sorry?
Why don't you better diet? Don't eat for a week. The bet will be much more interesting.
Bite your tongue, young man.
No doubles for a week.
No doubles. I've done that. That's not too hard. The doubles, some good hot doubles on the spot.
Anyway, good morning, everyone. It's Tuesday morning. Guess what I'm going to do tonight?
Is it X-rated?
No.
You're going to a show. I knew that. Let's see.
Guess what show?
Let me think. It's not Phantom.
Google Madison Square Garden tonight.
Google Madison Square Garden tonight. Okay. I will do that. Madison Richard Garden Tonight. Yeah, let's see.
Yeah, Internet Girls Club, you didn't get it yet?
You know, um, what's the date today? 9th.
Mm-hmm.
Janet Jackson.
That's right.
Really?
Yep.
Expect a phenomenal show.
Yeah, well, I've been looking at it.
Back in
Looked
the
like it's
day
a
when I
quite a
went
good
to a
show.
Janet Jackson concert, it was phenomenal. So much less for
Yeah,
now.
she's a really good performer.
Oh yeah,
Even
yeah,
at what, 55 or 56 now?
yeah. Is she that old?
Yeah.
She's so much older than me.
Mhm. Yeah,
Wow.
Steve. Hmm.
Billy
Yeah.
Joel was there
Hmm.
on the weekend. No, that's a concert.
Who?
Billy Joel was there on the 5th.
Okay.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah,
Yep.
you'll have a ball. You'll enjoy that immensely.
I hope to.
Billy Joel has come back on the 31st. Brian Adams. Ooh, that's a good one too.
Oh, he's still performing? Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he won't
Oh,
sell out
thinking
the
about
stadium,
those
but
on the years.
I could sing
There are a lot
heaven
of shows on.
anything.
Beyonce's preparing. Beyonce's in Europe preparing to launch a Renaissance tour.
Mm-hmm.
Taylor Swift, I think, is on tour still. A lot of tours
She's
on
on
now.
tour. Yeah, she's on tour.
A
Oh,
lot of people on tour now.
yeah. But you'll have a ball tonight. You're gonna enjoy. That means tomorrow you're gonna come on the program horse.
No, I don't scream
Yeah.
at shows because I lose my voice very, very easily. Very easily.
All right. Let's put another bet on that. Two doubles, two doubles. All right. I would not
God.
eat doubles for a week then. That's the bet.
I need to go around Trinidad and Tobago with you and let you sample doubles and do a show. Steve's reviews.
You know, David Wes used to do that. I don't know what's going on. He used to go
Mhm.
all over the
But I
place.
think you have the anatomy for it.
They have the palate for a good doubles.
People will get it when they see you sampling doubles around the country.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes, say yeah. He has credibility as a doubles connoisseur.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yes,
don't like
they
no
will say
watery
yes.
doubles. You know, just stretch it by putting it watery. No, no, I hate that.
Well, and are you someone who likes because there's these new high-end doubles with shrimp and meat
No, no, no,
and
no, no. I don't know what that is.
avocado and
No, no, no. That is not doubles.
no, no,
No.
no, and chicken and
No, 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 no.
no,
Oh, it makes me sick.
no. A doubles is chickpeas, some
Mm-hmm.
chutney, a
Mm-hmm.
little cucumber if you want, and that's it.
A little sweet sauce. I don't like sweet
A
sauce so
little
much.
sweet sauce, a little tamarind
Shadow
sauce, and
Benny,
that's it.
definitely.
This set
Crushed
of drama with
ghost
what
pepper.
kind of thing with the doubles and no.
Mm-mm.
No, 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 no,
Mm-mm. That is that. I
no.
don't know what that is.
I'm not an advocate of those kinds of doubles.
No, no, no.
Keep it very simple so you get the essence of the chickpeas and the bara.
That's right.
Now you a triples person or a doubles
No,
person?
a doubles.
Okay.
I like a doubles with plenty channel.
Watch my new camera, Steve. Watch.
I watch it. Oh, you went shopping for sure.
Isn't that cool?
It follows you. Look at you.
I want to suggest one for Wendell for his activities
Why don't you send one for here? I can do it one of that here.
with his double palm activities. We'll
Oh,
follow him
geez.
all around the room.
Oh, jeez. Here you going. But you know, Paul, I was shocked last night. It had to be around 8:30 when I was checking messages. Well, that young lady that was found in the Queen's Park, Savannah.
Yeah. What was that about?
So that is this. I can only guess this happened after the concert on the weekend. But this is the second person, apart from the young Asian lady that was killed during
And
Counsel.
from the circumstances, it seems like she was sexually assaulted.
Yeah, yeah,
So somebody, yeah, and you're right. Oh my God.
I'm going, oh, geez, on ages. What monsters walk among us?
Well, we know we have monsters walking among us, and because they're not being apprehended, they could continue to walk among us. Think about the likelihood. We could probably ask that question this morning. Do you think the person who killed that girl will be
We'll ever be
identified
found?
and apprehended?
Yeah.
Identified, apprehended, and charged. And most, I think I could venture a guess that most people would say no.
No, that's 100% no.
Yeah,
We can't even,
and
the beautiful young lady that was killed during Carnival time.
yeah,
There's nothing on that. That just went into Never Never Land.
and wasn't she a Japanese national who came to play
Yes.
Pan?
Always coming to TNT, loves the
And
culture.
that was like about this is over 8, 7 years ago.
It had, yeah, I don't think it's more than 10.
It was 7, 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Really unfortunate. So I
But
mean, condolence. And another young woman, and I keep saying there are assaults taking place. When you look at the statistics, possibly on a daily basis in Trinidad and Tobago, that's the ones that reported it. You can imagine the ones that are not reported.
not
I mean, they're
reported.
psychopaths walking around this country. Well, let's congratulate. Lawyer fees just went up in the country by
Oh,
17.
yeah, boy. Oh, my God. Lawyer fees went up if they weren't already high.
So 17 more people can now increase
Yeah,
what they
right.
charge
Oh, yeah, that was already
for,
set up already.
for their services, and they include Larry Lala. Congratulations, Larry.
And congratulations,
Uh,
Larry, Joan
yeah,
Paul,
Joan Paul, Colin Kangaloo, the brother of President Christine
yeah,
Kangaloo,
Leslie
Leslie
Lucky
Lucky
Samaru.
Samaru, well known in the legal fraternity,
Mm-hmm.
Jason Motu, Rajiv Prasad,
Mm-hmm.
Kerwin Garcia, who is the husband of President Kangaloo,
Mm-hmm.
Michael Kwamina,
Mm-hmm. Prime
who I think is
Minister's
the attorney of
assistant.
the Prime Minister, if I'm not mistaken,
An old
Ravi
Hillview boy
Rajkumar.
from
Sorry,
Hillview. Just saying.
who is that?
Ravi.
Okay, great.
Chambers is right up
Tipnorine
there. I know him
Prasad,
well. Yeah, I sent him
Bernard Shepherd,
congratulations yesterday.
my colleague on the independent bench, Anthony Vera,
Mm-hmm.
Terence Barath, who I think is the chairman of Angostura,
Yes.
Ronnie Besessa, Rishi Das, Ida Eversley, who is the deputy chief parliamentary counsel,
Mm-hmm.
all received silk yesterday, senior
Mm-hmm.
counsel status, which means their prices just all went up.
Yeah.
But it's an honor, and of course, like everything else in Trinidad Tobago, there's a lot of controversy because one would imagine that the newly appointed president, relatively newly appointed president, awarding silk to her, but giving the instruments to her husband and her. Of course, she didn't award them. She is the one who
Who
bestows
present?
them,
Yeah.
who presents them. Yes, they are recommended
Yeah.
by the Prime Minister and the Attorney General, well, the cabinet.
Yeah.
And
She has
because the
nothing to do with it.
controversy has started over that, I think our question yesterday was, do you think the award of silk should remain in the hands of the cabinet? You'll give the
Yeah.
result later on this
So the
morning.
selection of senior counsel remain in the hands of the cabinet. That's our poll from yesterday. It's still up. Give the results coming up in
Yeah.
less than 30 minutes. So you want to vote, you
Well,
can
the
do that
front
right
page
now.
of the Express this morning is Senior Counsel Avery Cinnamon. I think he may have also been president of the Law Association at some point, is asking, is this now a pappy show? Because of the questions, as Richard would always say, the optics. The
Yeah.
optics. And I think there should be some consideration to move this recommending list out of the hands of the cabinet. That's my opinion anyway. Because there were questions also, as I said yesterday, raised when during 2010 to 2015, when Mrs. Prasad Bissessa and then Attorney General, she was Prime Minister at the time, and then Logan both received silk as recommended by that cabinet.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the assertions that somebody giving themselves silk essentially, because of course it comes from the Prime Minister and the cabinet. So, I think.
I'm guessing that they have to apply for senior counsel status.
Well, from what Kerwin Garcia, senior counsel, has said, that he was told to apply. I think somebody has to clearly, if that's the case, somebody has to apply. And the conversation will continue. Dr. Adira Prasad, I could give you her number if you like.
Yeah, send it for me just in case.
Yeah, we should
Jason
probably
Mutu
talk
and
about.
Ravi Prasad were also Hillview boys. Thank you, my
Very
good
good.
friend Bobby. Thanks, Bob.
Yeah.
I see.
So yeah. Right, I just sent you Dr. Ampersad's number.
Yes, so yeah, something came here. Yeah, I don't know how well. I think I have that number. Yeah. And also the
Yes.
senior counsel Israel Khan
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
has
ever controversial.
has stated that the Minister of National Security should be removed immediately. I'm being nice with the words.
Did he give a reason why? Is it based on the statements just he recently the controversial statements
Yeah, I guess it's
that he made
from before we made those comments.
about judiciary and all of that?
Yeah. I was not home last evening to watch the TV6 news or CNC3 7 o'clock news, but I did skim through. I had it on while I was puttering around the house, so I was just
Very good.
listening to him a little bit.
Now, I want to share a video I stumbled upon on social media this morning, and I think it's such a powerful video. And the video is of a young man who is clearly currently incarcerated in one of the prisons in Trinidad and Tobago.
Mm-hmm.
And he's sounding a warning to other young people who sometimes stupidly think that prison is a glamorous thing. And
They do,
that
some of them think it's so glamorous.
that their lives would be is this ranking thing, and their lives would be all that. And I mean, I have to commend this. I mean, he clearly has done something to end up in prison, but he's taking the opportunity to show young people what life in prison in Trinidad and Tobago is like. So let's share that, and we come back and talk about
Let's
it.
take a look at that now. All those on YouTube.
Yeah. You are talking to, yes, you don't want to listen to your family, you don't want to listen to your mother, you don't want to listen to your parents, you only studying friends, you only studying the block, you only want to go and rob, you only want gun in your hand, you only want to smoke weed and play stupid, you only want to play fully dance. But you know what? I have a flick to give you. You see, this time when you grow up and where you're born in here, and where you're meeting, this is not life, this is where you're born and meet. You know the results of that life. Let me show you. This is it here. You see inside of here? Watch it here. You see this here? This is jail, right? And this is a clean cell, right? This is your toilet, your everything here, right? When it is your come and they put you in population, you're going in a cell with 8 men, 9 men, 10 men. You understand? You're sleeping on the ground, you're sleeping in hammock, and above the hammock, it have a next hammock where you're flying up there, and we call it the blimp. You understand? And it's up there, you're eating, you're everything. You want to pee, you have a bottle, you're peeing. You understand? And you're flying up in the ceiling. You understand? When it is you want to go off, right? It's a man inside the cell now, only eating meat, only turkey, everything they want to eat. When they want to go off, 8 hours inside the cell, 9 hours, you know what you do? Then they pull a gazette paper, spread a gazette paper, right? And go off on that paper, wrap it up, put it in a bag, tie it, and you go and you pelt it down the corridor because it ain't have no tub. You see like how this have a tub here? Well, I doesn't go off inside that at all, because if I had to go off inside that and I had to open that to use that again, that is abominable, right? So, if it is a feel, it's a ranking thing to come in jail. It's real sufferation and real pain. I know life confusing to you out there. You're born in an era, you're born in a time, and you're getting guns freely, you see, But this is what happened in here today. You have to watch how your friend and them dying. Look at your friends and them from in your village, in your community. Watch how young they die. You understand? Watch how those are the children. You understand? Watch how the children is now today. You don't want to be so. You have to be smart. You have purpose. You understand? You have to know, boy, this is not life. You understand? You have vision. You follow your vision. You follow your passion, and you can do great things. You understand? But you see the gun thing? That will bring you in jail. That will crush your life. You will get convictions, and they will tarnish your character. Even the media. You understand? So I just wanted to know.
I mean, that
Wow.
is such a powerful 2 and something minutes.
Did you
And
share
I
that
think,
video with me?
sorry,
Did you share that video with me?
it's on the news. It's on the news. Our news WhatsApp group.
Okay, I wonder if this is
I think that video.
Yes, the video you said. Okay, good. I got it.
I
Yes.
think that video should be played
That should
in
go
every
viral.
primary school in this country.
Yeah.
The students in primary schools should be put to sit down and look at that video. As a matter of fact, they should go in the prison and do a few more like that.
Because if you do not pay attention to your children, and somebody else will pay attention to them, you know.
Yeah, the gangs.
The gangs will and give them everything they want. But in order to get everything you want, you have to put back in return.
When I saw that video this morning, I said, wow, that he had clearly he's done a lot of reflection.
Yeah.
After ending up in prison. And remember, I always tell you, I visited the prison. He showed you a really decent cell there.
Mm-hmm.
That is a decent cell. That is a relatively clean cell, although he still has the poop bucket and all of that. But that is a decent cell. That is not, the other cells are 100 times worse than that. At Golden Grove and Port of Spain prisons. Because when I went with that GSC years ago, they were expecting us. So, you know, the cleanup.
Yep.
And even the cleanup couldn't sanitize the stench of human waste. You know, when you're walking, you just get the stench of human waste permeating there. And this is after they Clorox down the place, and they probably scrub for a week. That video is a very, very powerful video. And I hope that the authorities can take note of that and share it in schools, because young people need to see that this the misconception that they have that this prison is a ranking thing, and you have all the weed you want, and you're getting video games, and it will actually save 1 or 2 lives from going down the wrong road. If it saves 4 lives, 2 lives, 1 life from making the decisions that could put them in there, it will be a complete success. That's the kind of video the Ministry of Youth and National Service should be promoting in a campaign.
Heavily.
Yeah.
Right. All the schools.
Mm-hmm.
All those bullies should
Yeah,
hear.
all the schools. And I'm talking about primary schooler from standard 1.
Yes.
From standard 1. Let them get a sense of what making bad decisions and surrounding yourself with bad company can do to your life, because that's where it really starts. Who you're surrounding yourself with, and those people who are influencing you to do X and Y and Z. It's not a long time you could go and thief some mango and get away, you know. That could cost you your life now.
And it has for some people.
Yeah. Well, many people.
Yeah.
So, you know.
And that video should just go viral. I guess, yeah.
Yeah. So the big story this morning is, of course, the award of to 17 people.
So if you're on the top hammock, you can't come off.
Well, you can come off, but it's not going to be easy to go back up and sleep. You sleep on the floor.
Especially
you notice there were no beds there?
Huh?
8 in a cell, which is what I saw.
Yeah, we heard about that.
I saw 1 mattress and 8 men, so 3 of them hugging up and sleeping, and 1 and the others on the concrete in the corner somewhere.
On newspapers.
They get very creative. They take the chilita bottle caps and they play checkers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it is not the kind of life you want. Kind of thing.
But go off on the newspaper and throw it down the hall.
Wrap it up. And of course, is a 8 by 10 seller, so you ain't going in another room to go off, eh? You're going off right in the corner in front of everybody. And everybody exposed to the fumes, the noxious fumes emanating from your body. And imagine 8 men on at least once a day doing that. What's the face? You ain't free for the doubles again, right?
No.
Yeah. So
I immediately got constipated.
all right, so the big controversy, of course, the big conversation, I should say, this morning is, of course, the issue of silk in Trinidad and Tobago.
Yes.
It's not the first time we had this conversation.
No,
When
it
former
last.
Prime Minister, sorry,
It won't be the last.
silk was awarded to Mrs. Prasad Visesa and Ananam Logan. There was this conversation about whether or not the cabinet of Trinidad and Tobago, the sitting cabinet, should be making the recommendations to silk to the president's house. So it's come up again. So we could open the phone lines a bit and heed Zina's call to let people weigh in on the matter. She buffed us about a week ago. Sometimes people want to talk about it now. Coming up after 7 o'clock news, we'll have Mariana Brown talking about the economy. I know the media review is going to Parliament, if not next week, week after.
Yeah.
Where they look at the budgetary allocations and see what needs to be, what's the word? Varied, variation, appropriation, I think that's called it officially. And what needs to be added, what needs to be moved from here to there, etc. in terms of government spending. So we're going to take a couple of calls, see what you think about this silk issue.
Yeah, got a lot of calls already, so let's go to it. Good morning.
Hi, Steve. Good morning.
Morning, dearie. What's happening?
I'm fine, thanks. Morning, Paul.
Good morning, my dear. How are you this morning?
I'm fine. I'm glad you all opened the lines early.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So yesterday when you all were saying about the names on the list, I didn't have a problem with it because there were 22 or so, right? And that was a proposed list. So when we heard in the afternoon that it was 17 persons, I went through that list. I know some of the names in their professional way, Larry Lala and so on, as a High Court judge, right? I do not...
Larry Lala is not a High Court judge, he's an attorney.
Pardon?
He's not a judge, he's an attorney.
Yes, I know he's an attorney, but he acted as a High Court judge already. Larry Lala.
He did?
Yes.
Quite possibly, I don't remember, but quite possibly.
Yes, I know he's an attorney.
Yeah, you're right. I think he went up as a judge, yes. Briefly.
Yes. He had acted as he was, like, temporarily, a temporary judge.
Okay.
Yes, and I say, but these are highly professional people, and I was happy to see that list. And, in that list, when I saw the first husband of the president and the brother of the president, I say, well, look where the bacchanal will start now. But what is wrong with that? Those are, remember the criteria, they fit the criteria, what they asked for. And why is it they have to be singled out as controversial? Why is it? Because they are relative to the president. It's not the president making the choices, and I sure it's not the president have any say in that. So
the controversy is not the president, I don't think the controversy is the cabinet. Since even when Mrs. Prasad Visesa and Mr. Ram Logan got silk, because there was a conversation about whether or not they awarded themselves silk and whether or not it should be an independent body. To me, this controversy doesn't surround the office of the president.
But that should have changed if that wasn't sung into right, the cabinet making the choices. And now Mrs. The opposition leader talking about it as shameless. I think she is very shameless. Or she doesn't know the meaning of the word shameless. Didn't she give herself silk and her attorney general? So what is the big thing? If that every time there is silk to be handed out, why don't they change up and have a committee separate from all the politics and the politicians having a say, and give it a committee, the judicial, the chief justice and other people who are those people who know very well. Why don't they be the ones to determine who gets silk and not the cabinet, not no politician? change that, and then there will be no controversy. But it is like that, and so it is. So, and I know because the president, wife, husband, and and brother, and I know because of those two names.
Yeah, but that is the center of the controversy. Yes, you're right.
And I find so nobody can hold a position in this country if your husband, your brother, your father is some top official. Well, then what to do? We should leave the country because our parents or our family is involved in some high thing. We should not be a part of nothing. If you are national of Trinidad, I find this
Thank you.
relative. Bye.
Have a great day.
All right. Thank you so much. 222-8255. Toll free North Americans, 866-525-1099. Some numbers directly in the studio. We're taking some
I
of your.
just sent you a number, Steve. Check it out.
Check it out. Check it out. Check it out. Check it out. Oh.
Yeah, on the front page of the Express
You know
today.
him either. On the front page of the
Express today. Avery Silvan, who I also think is senior counsel.
All right, we have lots of calls, Paul. Let's go. Good morning.
Good morning.
And Dr. Paul.
Good morning.
My advice. No, you see, I don't know the
You see, I was listening, you know.
Yes, thank you. I don't know the real procedure that whereby these people got silk all the years. But if it was broke, don't fix it. Because I can't see that being a controversy now. Somebody could be related to somebody somehow, somewhere, no matter what you take it. And I think these things are grabbing at straws. So if it wasn't broke all the time, all these years, don't fix it. Leave it just as it is, not troubling anything.
You see, that's one of the issues in Trinidad Tobago that will always come up. That
It will always
when there are issues and people who are in power don't engage in the conversation and the dialogue and the possibility of changing things, you can't come after and say change it, because we will have the conversation, well, you didn't change it and you didn't fix it.
right.
And it's not only related to this, to many other things in Trinidad and Tobago.
Yes.
When Mr. Pandey speaks about constitutional reform and people say, well, why didn't you change it? You know?
There is a criteria for getting that, and if they fit the criteria, right ahead. I see nothing wrong with it. So as I say, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Thank you.
All right, Mrs. Richards, thank you. Good morning.
Morning, Paul Richard.
Mr. Patrick,
morning.
Morning. This is a clear that what Mr. Hines was saying is truth. Everybody have friends somewhere. So how they go fix that? So I don't understand if my brother or my husband decide they want to apply for silk because they qualify and they pass the criteria. What's wrong with that?
The issue is not that, Mr. Patrick. The issue is the body making a final decision is the question. Anybody could apply who feels that they're eligible to qualify.
Yes, but in the end of the day, that has nothing to do with the president.
And I fully agree with that. The president is just the vehicle through which the appointment is made.
Everybody have the right to apply for what they want in this country, and in this country, everybody have friends. That wouldn't say that your friend corrupt. That's what I said.
Mm-hmm.
That wouldn't say if my friend is a magistrate or a judge or a police, he or she corrupt. That's my friend, but they ain't doing no favors for me. So what I try to say, Mrs. Kangaroo did favors for she brother and for she husband. That way we just go in this country. I gorgeous.
All right, Mr. Patrick, thank you so much. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. The thing with the silk, I would like to recommend that they should give it to the University of West Indies. The same way they confer professorship onto people, they have a track record. and they're very rigorous and understand the process. You know, a lot of people have been refused the professorship, and it takes time. It's a real rigorous process and peer review and all kind of things to go through. So I think they have the system in place to give SCs, because I think it's almost the same thing. Because when I talked to SC, they said SC is almost like reverence when another lawyer meet. It's their pinnacle of the shaman, the enlightened one. You know, the way they do write their briefs and the way they go about the business of being a lawyer and all that. So it's almost a reverence. And the same thing as the professorship. And when you meet a professor in Trinidad, not like outside in the U.S., there's always mash up the professorship thing. Professorships is like the enlightened ones. And so I think they should give it to UE and let UE confer to people the SC. They have the track record for it. Yeah, man, that's my thing there.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dean. Good morning, caller.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Yes, all I want to say is that all over the years, all the persons who have gotten silk, are we questioning that? If we are questioning the process now, we have to question all the persons who have gotten silk over the years.
Mm-hmm.
We had various administrations. Nobody saw it fit to change anything. And these are the persons we elect into office.
All right.
I don't know. I am saying it's better to just scrap the whole idea silk.
That ain't gonna happen.
Yeah.
What I'm saying, if we question in the process now, we have to question all over the years. Thank you.
All right. 222-8255. North Americans, 866-525-1099. That's our numbers directly into the studio. All right. And of course, you have a couple of minutes again, about 5 minutes again, to vote on our morning poll. All right. So, and it's quite relevant. Should the selection of senior counsels remain in the hands of the cabinet? All right. So you have a couple of minutes again to vote on that, and then I'll check the results shortly when we are doing headlines. Yeah.
Interesting, but you know everything interesting.
How often does that title handed out? Was the last
Every
time?
year.
It's once a year. Okay.
Generally once a year.
And you have to apply for it.
Yep, but you have to apply to be considered.
Mm-hmm.
And then a determination will be made essentially by the cabinet as to whether they think that you are worthy or not.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Good morning.
Hi, good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thomas case, Kamala sit on to receive silk, so I don't know why she don't shut her mouth. You all have a blessed day.
Have a good day.
Yeah, I didn't quite get what you said there. All right.
Trinidad is sweet. I love Trinidad and Tobago.
Let's say good morning going out to a few people watching us on YouTube and various streaming platforms. Ray, Miss Ingrid Adams, good morning. Ms. Maloney, Mogans, good morning to you. We says, wow, that video. Yeah, we should play that again this morning later on. Beauty Culture, good morning to you. And Leonard Nightfall, good morning to you. Locked on every morning. Appreciate that.
Right. So it's 15 minutes moving up to 7 o'clock on Tuesday, the 9th of May. Let's jump into our news headlines on the three major dailies this morning, starting with the news. The Children's Authority begins training program for residential home workers. Morning, Ragobarsingh.
I'm voting
County
yes.
residents plead with
Irish
Works
Rich.
Ministry for help before rainy season. Wash the unhealthy snacks. President's husband on silk appointment. Iowa's government's choice. Political scientist on silk for Kangaloo's husband and brother. It reflects poorly on the president. Cops promise train line residents help is coming. Dr. Bishnu Raghunath says cabinet should not make silk recommendations. And Pittibook family of 10 homeless after fire. Maybe that can be the question this morning. Do you think the silk appointment of her husband and brother reflects poorly on the office of the president? That could be the question this morning. Or it could be Avery Sinanan's assertion that it's now a pappy show. Do you have physical newspapers, Ragobarsingh?
No, I don't. So you may proceed.
Let's move to the Express now. We went with slippery silk. It was a postcard moment for the Kangaloo Garcia family as President Christine Kangaloo conferred the prestigious gift of silk on the husband and the brother. A picture of President Kangaloo and the awardees at President's house yesterday. Avery Sinanan, what is this, a pappy show? It was highly unethical for President Christine Kangaloo to be the one conferring her husband Kerwin Garcia and her brother Colin Kangaloo with the titles of senior counsel. This is Avery Sinanan's assertion. You better be crafting a question from all this back in the Ragobarsingh. Belmont School.
I'm going with the first one that you said.
Okay. Belmont School gets fenced after protest. Well, finally. Bullets for Tobago man. Queen's Park, Savannah killing, semi-nude body of a woman found. Sad news. Motorist escapes bandits' bullets and jack in and walker out in Tobago. The chairmanship of the Steadley Park Enterprise Limited Company. Let's move now to the Guardian online. Yes, take a while for Guardian, so not my fault. For today, Wednesday. President husband among 17 conferred silk. Kangaloo, I had no hand in their selections. Khan tells new senior counsel defend judiciary against Hines attack. Belmont secondary students return to classes. Pundit to lead anti-crime motorcade in March. Children among migrants begging and vending on the flyover. Retired cop tells residents to build jails in your homes. Cops ministry probe claims of illegal quarrying in Waterfield. 20 bodies found in Congo mass graves. This is the Democratic Republic of Congo. And a school teacher killed by own vehicles. Those are trending stories in Express, Guardian, and Newsday for today, Tuesday, the 9th of May, 2023.
All right. 12 minutes before the hour of 7 o'clock. Of course, major news at the top of the hour. Let's get the results of our morning poll from yesterday. All right. So yesterday, once again, we asked you, should the selection of senior counsel remain in the hands of the cabinet? I'll give you the results right after this.
Furniture Plus has mega mattress deals for you. Shop Queen mattresses from as low as $799. Plus, get up to 20% off select Serta and Sealy mattresses with free gifts. Combos, bases, and accessories are also on sale. Check press and social media for details.
All right. Should the selection of senior counsel remain in the hands of the cabinet? 71%, 71, said no. All right, 71% said no. Let's get into this morning's poll.
So, Ragobarsingh, our question this morning is,
do you think that the appointment of the president's husband and brother as silk reflects poorly on the president? Isn't that what the first question you suggested? Did I phrase it correctly?
yeah, as suggested by Dr. India Ramprasad.
Yeah, we'll try her later.
But that was a suggestion that is the story in the papers by Dr. India Ramprasad, that she thinks that the fact that President Kangaloo was the one conferring reflects badly on the office of the president. So that's the question.
Yeah. So do you think that the appointment of the president's husband and brother as silk reflects poorly on the office of the president? That's the poll this morning. Do you think that the appointment of the president's husband and brother as silk reflects poorly on the office of the president? That's our poll. What do you think?
All right.
222-TALK, 222-8255, North Americans 866-525-1099, absolutely toll-free. Other parts of the planet, 1-868-222-TALK, 222-8255, and North Americans, of course, you know what to do. When I say North Americans, people on the message board, on the web and the app, you know what to do. Send your votes via the messaging portal there. So 222-TALK, 222-8255, and North Americans 866-525-1099.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
Morning.
I said no.
No. All right. Thank you. Woo, lots of calls. Love to hear where you're calling us from as well. Good morning.
Good morning. Toyota Central. My answer is no.
All right. Thank you, Central Toyota. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Under my PNM blanket in Arima. Hell no.
All right. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Grandy. Yes, and she's only 6 weeks on the job. Imagine that.
Good morning, caller.
Good morning. Absolutely not.
All right. Thank you. I've got Rena Boodoo Jennings says no. Mr. Carapo, no. Wendy Ann, no. Dennis, no. Mr. Carapo, no, it does not. Trev in Arima says no. What says you, caller?
Good morning, no.
All right, San Fernando. Maraval on the road says hell no. Junior says no. Ken E says yes. Carol Guevara says no. Mega Mouse. My answer is no. Lorna. Morning, Lorna. Kali Indy. No. Launch Park. Yes. All right. Keep those votes coming. Keep those calls coming by our message board. All right. Once again,
Our poll this morning, in case you're now joining us, do you think that the appointment of the president's husband and brother as silk reflects poorly on the office of the president? That's a suggestion made by one of the commentators in the media this morning. So we are asking it as a question for our poll this morning. Do you think that the appointment of the president's husband and brother as silk reflects poorly on the office of the president? That's our poll. What do you think? What are your thoughts on the matter? 222-TALK, 222-8255, North Americans 866-525-1099, other parts of the planet, 1-868-222-TALK, 222-8255, people on the web and app, you know what to do. But that's our poll this morning. Any votes on the
just a couple came in
on the messaging board?
Just one came in so far. Wayne out in Simcoe, Ontario, Canada, says, I guess it's no, but it says on. I guess it's no. Oh, you have a call. Good morning.
Hello?
Morning.
Morning, sir.
My answer is yes, and I think the Constitution gives the PM office too much power. Too much power is conferred to the PM office. And my answer is yes to the question.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Yeah, so 222-8255, 612-8255.
North Americans, 866-525-1099, absolutely toll-free. People in other parts of the planet, 1-868-222-TALK, 222-8255. Those of you in North America, those of you in the African continent, wherever you are. Do you think that the appointment of the president's brother and husband as silk reflects poorly on the office of the president? As I said, it's a suggestion made by one of the media personnel, one of the opinions of commentators on it in the media, and we want to solicit your opinion on it. Yes, what do you think, caller?
Good morning. Hi, honey bunny.
Good
Hi.
morning, Mrs. R.
Morning, Mr. R. Good morning, Steve. I say no, definitely. No, I say no. I think about it. I said no.
All right. Thank
Bye.
you
Bye,
for
Mr.
Mrs.
R.
R.
Bye.
Good morning, caller.
Morning, gentlemen. Man says no, the president don't select. Okay, thanks.
All right. 222, you have 4 minutes again to vote in our morning poll. All right, via our message board, via YouTube. Let's see what's going on YouTube. Morgan says no to the poll. Slick Money Grip. Good morning, gentlemen. My answer is no. All right. Ms. Maloney says no. Eartha Young says my answer is yes. Ingrid Adams says no. Leonard Nightball says no. All right. Also, Susie B says no because she didn't select them. She just gave them the instrument of appointment. So correct. Good morning. Good morning.
Morning, gentlemen.
Morning, big guy.
Hi. My opinion, according to Mr. Patrick, yes, I say yes.
All right.
Everybody has friends. Everybody has friends. That's what I meant. Yes.
Thanks, big guy out in New York. Thank you so much. All right. 222-8255. Toll-free North Americans, 866-525-1099.
Our poll this morning, let me remind you, do you think that the appointment of the president's husband and brother as Silk reflects poorly on the office of the president? That's our poll this morning. What do you think? Of course, this is coming from one of the commentators on the issue in the media this morning. So what's your opinion on the issue? That's our poll this morning, 222-TALK, 222-8255, North Americans, 866-525-1099, other parts of the planet, 1-868-222-TALK. People on the web and the app, use the messaging portal there to tell us yes or no, and we'll record your vote.
Yeah. All right.
You know you have an opinion of one way or the other, so give it to us.
Yeah. Ray out in West Palm Beach, Florida says no to the poll. All right. Thank you so much, Ray. All right. Let's see. We have a minute and a half again before we head up to our major news. I don't know if KK or AV is going to read it, but we'll figure it out when they walk into the studio. Most likely, I have a feeling it'll be King Kong. Right. Today is the 9th. It is the 9th day of May, folks. If you did not know, I find this month just moving quickly. All right, traffic is beginning to build in the usual routes. Very heavy out of Maraval this morning. Eastern Main Road equally heavier. And from Kunapir heading towards Ibis Gardens also got some traffic. 222-8255. Toll-free North Americans, 866-525-1099. Again, our poll, Rich.
Do you think that the appointment of the president's husband and brother as Silk reflects poorly on the office of the president? That's our poll this morning. What do you think? Of course, we're taking it out of the opinions of a commentator on the issue, Dr. Indira Rampersad, I believe it was.
Yeah, BCC says absolutely not. All right, thank you, BCC. Yeah. Let's see, more votes coming through here. Let's just check. Beauty Culture says no to the poll. Thank you so much, Beauty Culture. All right. Thank you so much. All right. You have a few seconds again to vote on our poll. All right. Yes. All right. Where's KK? Where's KK? Oh, amen. I never thought I'd say this to AV, but she's a sight for sore eyes.
Good morning, AV.
Oh my goodness. After seeing Gregory McBurney for those few days, oh, terrible. Glad that you're back. How you feeling? Is it Sahara Dustin?
Yeah, I assume because there's a lot in the atmosphere.
I feel in that same way too, man.
So I'm still not 100%, but I'm here. Good morning, Richard. And
Good morning, AV. It's so lovely to
how are
hear
you, honey bunny schnookums?
I am good. How are you?
Haven't
Well,
seen you in a while.
I hear in the Sarah dust.
Yeah, I'm having a difficult time of it, but yeah. Knowing that you are here supporting me, Richard, means a lot.
Yeah, great.
All right.
I rebuke you, Sahara dust.
Yeah, well, killing me too. It's killing me too, Richie Rich.
Yeah, I know.
Right,
It goes in one ear and comes out the next.
Yeah,
All
let's
right.
just move on.
Let's get into our 7 o'clock major news.
This is your news bulletin from Power 102 Digital.
President Christine Kangaloo is making it clear she had no role in the appointment of persons who were bestowed with senior counsel on Monday. The president's husband, Cohen Garcia, explains his reason for applying for senior counsel now. Meanwhile, criticisms continue to be leveled on the award of silk to the brother and husband of the president. And former Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan has been arrested outside the High Court of the capital, Islamabad. Details in a moment. This is news to 7 o'clock on Power 102 Digital. I'm Afril Senthil Bab. Good morning. President Christine Kangaloo is making it clear she had no role in the appointment of persons who were bestowed with senior counsel on Monday at President's House. Her Excellency's husband, Cohen Garcia, and her brother, Colin Kangaloo, were bestowed with the title. President Kangaloo provided details on how this process is carried out, adding there is involvement from the Attorney General and the Prime Minister.
I speak of the culmination of a process because under the arrangements that currently obtain, the process begins with the Honorable Attorney General as the titular head of the bar, inviting attorneys at law who consider themselves eligible to apply to be awarded the status of senior counsel. The Honorable Attorney General then consults with the Honorable Chief Justice in relation to the applications that are received. And following upon and with the benefit of such consultation, the Honorable Attorney General then makes recommendations to the Honorable Prime Minister as to the award of the status of senior counsel from among the applicants.
President Kangaloo said at the end of the process, she formally confers SC status to those who qualify for it.
The Honorable Prime Minister considers the Honorable Attorney General's recommendations and then advises the President on the attorneys at law who are to be awarded the status of senior counsel. At the end of the process, the President, whoever he or she may be, acts in accordance with Section 80, subsection 1 of the Constitution, and on an occasion like today, formally confers senior counsel status to those upon whom he or she has been advised to do so.
Attorney General Reginald Amo says there is a call for a review of how individuals are given senior counsel status. The AG made the disclosure after 17 lawyers were given senior counsel recognition on Monday at President's House. Speaking with members of the media, the AG said when he held the post of President of the Law Association of Trinidad and Tobago, this matter was brought to the forefront. He made it clear the present process has been around even before the country's independence.
Let me not accept by the last thing that you said that there is any political interference. But yes, I know that there is a call for a review of the present process. The present process has been in existence from even before we became independent, but it was confirmed in 1964 by President Richards, Attorney General Richards at the time, and we have observed that process since. There are calls for review. I happen to know because when I was president of the Law Association, I had participated in that, and that is under review.
The president's husband, Cohen Garcia, explains the reason behind his decision to apply for the title of senior counsel at the particular time he did instead of at another occasion. Speaking with reporters on Monday, Mr. Garcia said whether or not President Kangaloo was the head of state, the process would have continued. Mr. Garcia said he was advised to apply for the SC status, and this was his first application.
It would have made no difference to me whether it was Her Excellency who is in the office of president or any other person who is in the office of president. The process would have continued, and I hope and pray that the process would have thrown up the same selected candidates as was selected today, where I am concerned. In life, as in other things, timing is sometimes everything. And this just happened to be the right time in terms of the advice that I was receiving for many, many quarters that I should apply at this particular time. And that is the story of how I came to apply now and not before. One must be careful not to do things too early in one's life. One has to be very careful to do things at the appropriate time.
A UAE political scientist, Dr. Indira Rampasad, says the award of silk to the brother and husband of President Christine Kangaloo reflects poorly on her as the head of state. She is also of the view that cabinet should not be involved in recommending lawyers for silk, reacting to news that the president's husband, Cohen Garcia, and her brother, Colin Kangaloo, were among 17 attorneys receiving silk letters of appointment from President Kangaloo on Monday. Rampasad noted that the cabinet of the Kamala Prasad Basasa administration similarly recommended silk to Prasad Basasa and then Attorney General Anand Ramlogan. The opposition UNC on Monday slammed the elevation of attorneys Cohen Garcia and Colin Kangaroo to the rank of senior counsel. Oropouche East MP and UNC deputy political leader Dr. Rudal Munilal said, quote, "We warned this country that the appointment of a sitting politician and PNM party demagogue was going to affect national interests. They did exactly what we thought they would do without hesitation." Opposition Senator Jolene John, another UNC deputy leader, said the conferral of silk on Garcia and Kangaloo was different from UNC political leader Kamala Prasad Basasa and former Attorney General Anand Ramlogan receiving silk. You are listening to news on Power 102 Digital to 7 o'clock. Former Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan has been arrested outside the High Court in the capital, Islamabad. Mr. Khan was appearing in court on charges of corruption, which he says are politically motivated. Footage showed paramilitary forces and armored personnel carriers detaining Mr. Khan after he entered the court compound before driving him away. He was ousted as Prime Minister in April last year and has been campaigning for early elections since then. General elections are due to be held later this year. Finally, here's weather news for the period today till midnight. Trinidad and Tobago, predominantly sunny, hazy and windy conditions are expected despite brief showers at times. Tonight will be fair but hazy with a few isolated showers. Please note Sahara dust is present in moderate concentrations. Persons sensitive to this change in air quality are being advised to take the necessary precautions. Look out for a forecast maximum temperature of 32 degrees Celsius at Piarco International Airport and 31 degrees Celsius at Crown Point in Tobago this morning. Currently, it is 28 degrees Celsius at both localities. Well, no. Recapping your headlines to 7 o'clock, President Christine Kangaloo makes it clear she had no role in the appointment of persons who were bestowed with senior counsel on Monday. The president's husband, Cohen Garcia, explains his reason for applying for senior counsel now. Meanwhile, criticisms continue to be leveled on the award of silk to the brother and husband of the president, and former Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan has been arrested outside the High Court in the capital, Islamabad. I'm Avril Sindhill-Bab. That was news to 7 o'clock on Power 102 Digital. Look out for more news in detail at 12 noon and an update at 8 o'clock this morning. For more details, log on to power102fm.com.
Up to date and credible. Power 102 Digital.
That's exactly where we are. 11 minutes after the hour is 7 o'clock. And welcome to the second hour of the Power Breakfast Show on Power 102 Digital. Paul Richard Ragobarsingh, myself, Steve Kahn, keeping you company until 9 o'clock. That's when Sir Charles comes in, take you through your mid-mornings. And thank you, Avril, for our major news. Of course, we've got a news update again, and that's coming up at 8 o'clock on this, the 9th day of May. 9 days already gone. Wow. I tell you, it's just moving fast. Let's take a look at what's happening traffic-wise. It is Tuesday. Shows that it's heavier on a Tuesday. I don't know why. All right. You got traffic just after Grandy, heading straight up toward Valencia Junction, going through Santa Rosa, Piaco, towards Uwe. And then Curep in the Port of Spain, Ibis Gardens, pretty much the Curep. You've got it. Chaguanas Main Road, also a bit, it's not that bad. It's lighter than usual, actually. But you got traffic on the southern main road heading towards Ibis, all right? I'm seeing an accident. I'm seeing an accident, folks. Just what you don't want. Oh, it's a minor one. It's a minor fender bender. Northbound by Monroe Road, okay? Monroe Road is beginning to build as well. And, the Rivulet Road, going through California, Claxton Bay, Coover, you've got traffic on the main road. Creek's got some traffic. San Fernando's lighter than usual. Out of the west, Maraval, Digger Martin. Watch out for the new construction diversions, I should call it, or structures that are up by the Digger Martin area. Please be mindful of that, all right? Especially that traffic light. There's no more traffic lights by, if you did not know, there's no traffic lights by KFC/Super Farm to get in that area. Those traffic lights are gone. The next traffic lights would be by West Moorings. All right. So, and if you need to get into that KFC, I don't know how you're going to do that. I don't know what road you're going to take to get there. I don't know if you have to pass through by between Massey and Westmall. So. I haven't gone that side yet to really check it out, so I'm just being told by some friends what's going up that side. All right, let's check to see if we have any more votes. I got Ms. Bonnet West saying no. I got Sherry saying no. And I've got Rampage saying Rampage is saying she just woke up, and if the list of senior counsel you guys had with Stuart Young name on it. Yes, Stuart Young's name was not on it, but the president's brother and husband was on it. All right. So there we go. So let's get the final results there, Richie Rich.
Absolutely. So the poll this morning. Do you think that the appointment of the president's husband and brother as Silk reflects poorly on the office of the president? As we said, we took the poll from a commentator in the media this morning. We had 35 people voting on the poll this morning. Of the 35 people, 29 of you said no, you did not think that it reflects poorly on the office of the president. 6 of you said yes, it did. So 6 said yes, 29 said no in terms of the litmus test of public opinion on our Power Breakfast Show this morning. So of course the vast an issue that reflects poorly on the office of the president. So there you have it. Are you asking me? Are you asking me my opinion, Paul?
Yes, Richard. I'm begging for your opinion.
I think issues like this is why we need to have an Office of Ethical Behavior that probably gives an opinion on these sorts of issues before they come to light. Because can it potentially raise certain ethical issues? Of course it can. Because anything where your family is appointed when you're in public office always raises ethical concerns. Not saying that these concerns necessarily have to mean that the persons do not get whatever particular office or whatever particular award, but it is something that is to be considered in terms of ethical behavior in public office and the ethics of any award being given. Not saying that an Office of Ethical Behavior would not have awarded it, nevertheless, to Kerwin and Colin.
It's always about the process and transparency in the process to me.
Yeah. Well, it's
always
me,
about
always good to have oversight.
And whether or not the process is such that there's no question about the person's eligibility. And as you said, Mr. Garcia and Mr. Kangaloo may well very much potentially qualify. Nobody, you know, their attorneys, their work would be considered, and in the past, and that's why the questions about Mrs. Prasad Bisses and Mr. Ramlogan at the time were also raised because of the process that is used. When the process doesn't seem to sometimes lend itself to full transparency and the equal opportunity for everyone who may be eligible, or give somebody an advantage, whether real or perceived, those where the questions arise.
Well, that's where optics matter. So when Kamala Prasad Bisses and Ram Logan basically gave silk upon themselves because they were the
cabinet at the time.
They were part of the determining body. It reads wrong. It reads wrong from an ethical point of view, and it reads wrong from an optical point of view. Point of view. Not that you may not deserve it in terms of your credentials, but the issue is this the correct time? And in me talking
about... should you be a part of the process to award something this prestigious to yourself?
Well, you should not be. That's basic refusal. Yeah. And maybe they would. I don't know. There is nothing that suggests that they won't, so we have to assume that they were part of it. And in a particular case like this, I get it. I understand President Kangaloo's position that I have no part of the process.
No official role.
So it certainly puts her in an uncomfortable position.
Yeah, very awkward position.
The office of the president under an optics issue. Because you were president of the Senate, because you were once a politician aligned to a particular party, it raised certain issues of your ascension to the office of the president. So I know this is not something that she's comfortable having.
And then the proximity, the proximity to her appointment as president, her election as president, I should say.
Exactly.
You know,
so it's not something that I know she's comfortable having to deal with this morning.
Yeah.
And so,
but that's why she had to explain it yesterday. That's what warranted the explanation from her office.
Yep. Because it became an issue.
Earlier on, Richard. Earlier on, we played a video. You weren't on, but I want to play it again for those who may have logged on later. Young man in prison. I think it's such a powerful video. He was admonishing other young people who think that prison is a glamorous rank in life, and that he showed them what real prison is like. And he said this is a great cell, and it wasn't a great cell. But in the context of what I know in prison in Trinidad and Tobago from my visit, that it's such a powerful video. I think should be shown in primary and secondary schools. So let's share it. I know we're standing by for Marion LeBron, but let's share it again with the audience.
Yeah, you are talking to, yes, you don't want to listen to your family, you don't want to listen to your mother, you don't want to listen to your parents, you only studying friends, you only studying the block, you only want to go and rob, you only want gun in your hand, you only want to smoke weed and play stupid, you only want to play fully dance. But you know what? I have a flick to give you. You see, this time where you go up and where you're born in here, and where you're meeting, this is not life, eh? You know, this is where you're born and meet. You know the results of that life. Let me show you. This is it here. You see inside of here? Watch it here. You see this here? This is jail, right? And this is a clean cell, right? This is your toilet, your everything here, right? When it is you come and they put you in population, you're going in a cell with 8 men, 9 men, 10 men. You understand? You're sleeping on the ground, you're sleeping in hammock, and above the hammock, it have a next hammock where you're flying up there, and we call it the blimp. You understand? And it's up there, you're eating, you're everything. You want to pee, you have a bottle, you pee. You understand? And you're flying up in the ceiling. You understand? When it is you want to go off, right? It's a man inside the cell now, only eating meat, only turkey, everything they want to eat. When they want to go off, 8 all inside the cell, 9 all. You know what you have to do? Now they pull a gazette paper, spread a gazette paper, right? And go off on that paper, wrap it up, put it in a bag, tie it, and you go and you pelt it down the corridor because it's in a tub. You see like how this have a tub here? Well, I doesn't go off inside that at all because if I had to go off inside that and I had to open that to use that again, that is a bomb, right? So if it is a feel, it's a ranking thing to come in jail. It's real sufferation and real pain. I know life confusing to you out there. You're born in an era, you're born in a timing. You know you're getting guns freely, you see, you know. But this what happened in here today. You have to watch how your friend and them dying. Look at your friends and them from in your village, in your community. Watch how young they die. You understand? Watch how those are the children. You understand? Watch how the children is now today. You don't want to be so. You want to be smart. You have purpose. You understand? You are no boy. This is not life. You understand? You have vision. You follow your vision. You follow your passion, and you can do great things. You understand? But you see the gun thing? That will bring you in jail. That will crush your life. You will get convictions, and they will tarnish your character. Even the media. You understand? So I just wanted to know.
I think that's such a powerful video.
Isn't it?
And, you know, he clearly ended up in prison for something. I don't know if he's on remand or whatever, but clearly he has done some reflection in his own life. And he's used his experience to show other young people that this ain't what you think it is. And this is not the way you want to go. You know? And I think we need more. That's the kind of video that should be shown in primary and secondary schools, given the kind of choices we see some young people making these days.
Yeah. It should be. It should be. That video should just go viral.
Well, is it viral already?
Yeah, it is viral already.
I haven't gotten it.
It is viral.
I got it from Paul. If it goes viral, I get it from a bunch of people, but
I think it's on its way to being viral.
Yeah.
If it's not viral already, I think it is. But it's making the rounds. I saw it. Yeah. So yeah, but it paints a realistic picture of what takes place in prison in terms of people out there who think that having the credentials of being going into prison is something to boast about, or get you the ladies who like Batman.
Mm-hmm.
But that's part of it too. Eh?
That's part of it too.
Yep. I think a Batman title makes you, more attractive to some women, and it does, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know if any of those women are listening to us. Like Batman. Batman.
Well, they've been listening today because Wendell not here today, but they probably listen to
Wendell is a Batman.
I never said that.
That's your suggestion. That's your implication.
Wendell is the one with the street attraction,
I'm not so sure what that means. Could you clarify?
Because he's streetwise. He's streetwise,
What does that mean? You're still not clearing it up
Yes,
for
they
me.
didn't know him. They didn't know of his acumen in navigating the rough streets of the world and being successful.
Are you talking about the red light district he frequents?
So they know that too,
Oh,
and the palm and the double area and all of those things that he has access to on a
I don't
regular
know about
basis.
that, but
And then he made a prince in Africa or some kind of thing. So
I don't know about that.
yes, I mean, a successful businessman, So he's a bad man in a kind of good way.
You're on your own, huh? You'll answer for that
Trying-
tomorrow.
trying just to motivate, but as the currents coming, the waves are covering me quickly. So let me just shut up and accept my fate. Anyway.
Exactly. So I
Steve,
don't
your
know.
guest is not signed on yet, so I don't know.
Yeah. We're supposed to speak with Mariano Brown.
Would you like to call try Mr. Sinan and Steve and let's have a conversation with him about this whole thing?
Well, I just spoke to Mariano, so I know he's logging on any second now.
Okay.
And during that, I will call Mr. Sinan.
But while we are waiting, I might as well bring it up that, I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but this little piggy is
No, you never did.
coming.
No, you never did. It's the first we hearing of it.
It's coming to San Fernando on the 20th and the 21st of May, which will be the final two performances.
That piggy is stretching itself, no pun intended.
It'll be the final two performances in San Fernando at Sapa on Saturday the 20th at 8:30 and Sunday the 21st at 6:30 p.m. Of course, tickets are already available at the various outlets, and the outlets are K Squared Fashions, both in Gulf City and C3 Center, Fens of Marabella by the Roundabout, and in Chagonas at Brentwood Mall. Creme Fresh at Brentwood Mall in Chagonas also has tickets. So those are your four outlets. You can get your tickets all now as we finally start to close this little piggy style. It's our final two performances there, and then we'll just have one more performance in Tobago at the Shore Park Complex on June 3rd. That's where we close.
Good morning, Cheryl Seabrass. You know I was joking about Wendell, right? Based on your comment, Wendell and I joke about each other a lot. So if you think that I was serious, I was joking. Wendell is a very upstanding gentleman. Okay. But from time to time we do poke fun at each other. In humor. Maybe my tone wasn't humorous enough. Anyway, it's Tuesday morning. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago and around the world. It's full spring in New York.
I saw people relaxing on the
spring is in full effect. Yesterday was like a real Trinity. There's warm, doors open, windows open, people out in shorts and t-shirts, enjoying sunlight. They love the sunshine here. I break some sunshine as much as possible sometimes. I like cool weather. But people are enjoying the warm weather because the cold stayed around quite a while in North America. Interestingly enough, as I said yesterday, Chicago was hot like hell. And then New York was cold. So I guess when you go from by the lakes to on the East Coast, that can happen very easily. And the sad news last night into this morning about that young woman whose body was found by the grandstand in the Queen's Park Savannah. A really tragic story again.
I saw that. Was that posted up in a group yesterday or something?
I saw it in the news.
Yeah, I don't know what is the story concerning that, because I don't know it at all. I just saw something in a group that they post from time to time, like these alerts, but I don't know what's the full outcome of that story. Is there any outcome?
Well, no, they just identified it, but they found the body. I don't know that they identified the body yet, sadly. And it seemed from the circumstances, the way the body was found with her clothes jacked up, that she may have been the victim of a sexual assault or something and then murdered, which is so sad.
Horrific.
Yeah. When they're saying, you see how the woman just defend me, even if they don't know me, and they have the right to, and they're good for you. You see, and you're an honorable guy, so that's what happened. You know, as I always say, you do what you do well. So I wouldn't read the next part, Wendell. Next part may not be as airworthy as the first part, and may be misconstrued. You know, when I say something, they think I'm serious all the time. But I was joking for those who, you know, may not have caught the humor in my tone.
So we're waiting on Mariano Brown to join us. Apparently, he's having some technical difficulties navigating technology.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, we got some.
I'm now busy talking to Mariano Brown. I'm saying Mariano is having some difficulty navigating the technology. And there you
Good morning. When you invite somebody, you should tell them the medium that you're sending rather than just say, I'll call in at 7:15.
That was for Steve.
No,
let me zoom, you know.
That was for Steve.
This is not Zoom.
No, this is not Zoom. This is StreamYard.
Something else.
There you go, man. You know what platform you're on. Good morning, Mariano Brown. How are you? Good morning, sir. How are you?
I am fine.
Sorry?
I'm fine, thank you.
You look in the pink of health. Last time we spoke to you, you had the flu. I'm glad you're in the pink of health this morning.
Last time you spoke to me, I had pneumonia.
Oh, you had pneumonia. I didn't know it was that bad. Well, you're looking healthy and well this morning, so that's good news. Let's start with the big topic this morning on everybody's lips. And our question this morning was related to the Silk appointments yesterday, and in particular, Mr. Garcia, now Senior Counsel, and Mr. Kangaloo, now Senior Counsel, and your thoughts on the process for awarding Silk in Trinidad and Tobago.
Well, I think we have to depoliticize the awarding of Silk to start with. In Barbados, they have, I mean, it's a small country, but there are certain things which are done, and they understand the rules, and they give you some, for instances. David Thompson was not my friend, quite the opposite. In a conversation with me when I was a minister, and he was prime minister, said to me, that in Trinidad, you all are quite vicious, quote and unquote. He says there are some things that we just don't argue about. So, for example, when the Attorney General left office, demitted office, and was appointed Chief Justice, we argued vehemently against his appointment. So we did not like the idea that somebody would leave political office and go into a position where he's head of the judiciary, because it invited possibilities of collusion between the executive and the judiciary. He said, but once he became the Chief Justice, he was Chief Justice. And any continued conversation on our part would demean the office of Chief Justice. And in those circumstances, as much as we were against it, when he became Chief Justice, that was the end of that. That's point one. Point two, he also, well, conversation, it was one of the few times that we had one of those types of conversations, but we had one. He also pointed out to me, he said that with regard to the awarding of Silk, we have some conventional rules, and I mean it's not a question. That's how we operate. So it's never going to be something that's going to be argued about. So somebody who holds and fulfills the position of the Attorney General will be awarded Silk as they demit office. See, it's not an argument. That's a convention, and that's what we do. The same thing for people who, for example, join the appellate bench. They would be awarded Silk. Standard practice, no questions asked. So there are rules and conventions that eventually become normative over time. In Trinidad and Tobago, we have no such conventions, nor have we work towards establishing them, nor saying so. The Law Association has put forward some recommendations that could be followed. Once, of course, it has agreement. The difficulty with the current appointments, of course, would be what one considers optics, because there are a number of awardees who have clear links with the executive or members of the executive at this stage. And their award, since this cabinet and members of this cabinet were pretty vocal in the award of silk on the same lines to members of another administration whom they thought had favored themselves, have done exactly the same thing. So it creates, the word is not boundaries, it creates the opportunity for mischief, confusion, and argument. Because it will always appear capricious and subject to the whims of those who are in office to determine whom should be favored. So I think that is the major difficulty with this particular appointment. We have a lot of static. I don't know if you're getting it, but I'm hearing static.
Yeah, I don't know either. Maybe.
Yeah, so the issue is we have to set some standards and set some awards, and we have to live with it. As long as the appointment appears capricious, and the optics, for example, in this particular instance, would suggest that there's, if not some element of it, but some element of favoritism, that's what the optics would look like, because we're not doing it in accordance with any rules. How did you put your hand in the brand tub and come up with any names? Was the mechanism for so doing? And as long as we have no established mechanism by which we can all agree, then the appointment of any silk in these circumstances will always generate argument and confusion.
But it's not exactly the same thing as would have happened last time. I
Well,
mean, there are similarities. I will give you that.
It's does lightning strike twice in the same place all the time?
But it's
lightning
not
does
exactly
strike.
the same thing. That's the point I'm making. The last time it was actually members of the cabinet.
Well, in this particular case, we have a member of the cabinet who's been granted silk.
Which member of the cabinet has been granted silk?
Is there a young among the list of awardees?
No.
No, that was no. Mr. Young, Minister Young did not receive
Well,
silk from this place.
In this particular instance, of course, there are those who would be deemed to be close to the existing president. Now, I'm not saying that they are not deserving. Let me get that clear. I'm not saying that they're not deserving of the award of silk, because my information is that they are. I'm saying that in the circumstances, without an adequate process or rules which are accepted and all, there always is the opportunity for criticism. That's the point I'm making.
So it's a process issue, which is why I said this morning. It's not about eligibility, because clearly there will be some basic eligibility criteria. An attorney at law practicing for X amount of years, if that is the case. I don't even know the eligibility criteria.
No, it's not. That is not the case. That is one of the influences, but that is not the case.
Okay, so
because on that basis, it becomes normative, and that you practice for X number of years, you get silk, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. There have to be, and that's a question of what you call the time seniority on the basis of elapsed time. All right, that's not necessarily how silk is meant to be awarded. And the point I'm making is very simply, right? We will have confusion if we do not have a process which everybody accepts. That's it. System and process and system.
And transparency.
That's the point that you make. I could identify with that.
Yeah, I fully agree with that. On to our substantive topic this morning. Of course, I know media review is coming up, but even before that, the IMF paid their visit to Trinidad and Tobago recently and made their recommendations. Well, they put out their report. They published their report. Dr. Roger Hussein has one perspective. The Minister of Finance has another perspective, not unusual circumstances. I'm sure you would have had sight of the report by now. Give us an overview from your perspective of what the report entails.
Fair disclosure. I wrote in my column on Sunday in The Guardian that I thought the IMF numbers were unrealistic because they were prepared in December, January, and since then, much has happened that will affect the operation and performance of the Trinidad and Tobago economy at this stage. I did not give a number for the outlook But I indicated that the minister would no doubt want to use the IMF's figures because they are very positive. And from a political perspective, politicians sell hope. So it would be very useful for him. But having said that, I didn't think that the numbers as projected by the IMF would be realized. So that is my position. That is my public position. That is my private position. And that is my considered opinion. All right, so I will start off by saying that the numbers as presented are exactly the numbers that would have been in the official press release at the end of the IMF's visit. It is consistent with the numbers that they have included in the World Economic Outlook for Trinidad and Tobago. I will say this. The IMF has had to revise numbers on every occasion that it has published its World Economic Outlook, particularly during the course of COVID and post-COVID. It has been saying, and its official position is, that there are more risks to the downside. That is precisely the words that the IMF uses in its April publication of the World Economic Outlook. Now, the World Economic Outlook that is published in April is really an update on the numbers which they published in October. The numbers in October tend to be hard-coded. And the reason why they don't go through and kind of revise the numbers on every occasion is that they will begin to lose credibility. If every time you issue a report and you change the number, people are going to ask you which number is right? And forecasts are just that, they're forecasts. Things change. There's a multitude of interconnected variables that affect the operation of the world's economy. And in large measure, econometric models can only take into consideration the big picture and the big picture items, such as will have an effect on the numbers. In such an instance, one expects that there will be variations in forecasts. Let's start off on that basis. So the IMF number is not cast in stone. It has also commented, as I said, that there are more risks to the downside, meaning that if things change, the numbers are not going to hold. And they have already indicated that world economic growth is likely to be a little smaller than what they expected. Now, Trinidad and Tobago's case is not the same. We are subject to very pointed influences in terms of our economic outlook, and our fortunes are wedded to the performance of the energy sector. So whether the energy sector goes, that's where Trinidad and Tobago will go for the time being, unless we have found a way to decouple and or to diversify and or to increase the contributions from other sectors. So if one has to look at the numbers, the first thing that one has to pay attention to is what is taking place in the energy sector. There are three considerations. One, the volume of gas produced. Two, the prices for the realized prices for energy products on the international marketplace. And three, the ability of the government to change the arrangements to ensure a higher tax take. So if we look at the first one, the volume of gas produced. The volume of gas produced in Trinidad and Tobago has not been in free fall, but it has been in secular decline, long-term decline. We moved from a production of 4.2 between 2010 and 4.2 billion cubic feet a day to down to 3.3 in 2014. There's a big political brouhaha as to whether the plants were closed for methanol, and the PNM continues to beat Kevin Ramnarine over that particular issue. At that time, Kevin, unfortunately, the government had not determined which was which. The plants were closed for maintenance, as plants are currently closed for maintenance. Now, why are the two things consistent? Well, when the volume of gas starts to fall, it affects not only the profitability, but the throughput. Those plants are built to operate at a certain volume. So it makes sense for them, and there are companies, for example, have more than one plant. They may have three or four. It makes sense for them to operate one efficiently rather than to operate four inefficiently. And in such instances, they will shut in plants or close plants for maintenance. That is taking place as we speak. But there is also another problem, that the volume of gas has been falling. The reason why we didn't hear for 18 months to 2 years any problems or any noise coming out of the energy sector was that prices were high. So we moved from a price of approximately 200 per metric ton, $200 US per metric ton, to prices which went as high as $1,700 per metric ton. Well, in that case, you could produce inefficiently because the price is so high. When the price is coming down as it is now, and the current price for ammonia has fallen from approximately $900 in December to $335, $340 as at the 4th of May. That is a 70% decline, while the circumstances have changed. So that's the first point. The circumstances in the energy sector have changed. The price has changed. The volume has continued to decline. That's the reason for all the brouhaha with regard to Dragon and Manatee and everything else. But those are not currently on the horizon for reasons I have already stated, and I know Richard, for example, has queried me on it, and I think the evidence is pretty damn clear at this stage of the game that I was right. It ain't happening. So let me get that clear too. So you're dealing with the reality that your production of gas has fallen, and by the way, it had there are no published numbers for 2023 as yet. I rather suspect when they publish the numbers, you will see that there are further declines.
Has there been an analysis of why we have this consistent decline in gas production in Trinidad and Tobago? What are the factors contributing to that?
When you plant a tree and you fertilize it and you water it, it will grow and it will bear for 25 years. The same is not true of an oil well or a gas well. It has a finite life and a finite volume of gas. There are techniques that you could use to increase the amount that you pump out of the same well. So that would be true. For example, that was one of the reasons for the Cassia project. It's Cassia compression. What is compression? Compression is to increase pumping power. Well, that hasn't worked the way it was supposed to. So that, in other words, if I'm treating with the same decline in volume and my compression is declining, well, then the amount of gas that I'm able to pump up would also decline. So there are technical issues in addition to long-term supply issues. And that's one of the reasons why you have to have exploration on a continuous basis. And that's why when there were dry holes in 2019, and people like myself pointed out that it has had implications for the future, Mr. Imbert dismissed the head of BP and saying that she was just the head of BP in Trinidad and Tobago, which is Claire Fitzpatrick, and said she's just an accountant. She knows what she's talking about. All right. Well, we're seeing the evidence of what that is today. Those were replacement wells, what is called the infill program. And the infill program means that we have to continue to explore for opportunities to maintain our current volume of production. And if you look at BP, you will see that BP's volume of production, BP was the largest producer. It used to produce like about 60-something percent of what you call it, of everything that is taking place. But it is not doing that now. All right? And that's because the volumes are down. They've not been exploring. So no exploration, no new finds, equal decline.
And what does that mean for, because I know that there were some mixed reviews about the bid rounds, the success of the bid rounds, and new potential investors moving into the future to deal with these dry wells that haven't borne the kind of potential fruit that it was envisioned originally, and the potential future investment in the industry for Trinidad and Tobago from the big players in particular.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, somebody's trying to get me. Yeah. So sorry for that break. I sent them a message. The bid rounds. The bid rounds have been failing since 2006. All right.
Why?
Why?
The regime? Is it the structure?
Well, remember that the biggest response to drilling, which is how we got Juniper and Angeline, was that they gave incentives. All right, we gave incentives to the energy sector companies, and clearly the energy sector companies are motivated. And Richard, in answer to your question, as much as we may have technical people, I rather suspect the technical capacity available to the combined intelligence of the multinational energy sector is considerably better than what we have. So whenever we go to the table, if we are not properly informed, we will always be outmaneuvered.
How much of a factor is the expansion in Guyana at this point, Tim? Because Guyana seems to be the epicenter in the region for energy.
Guyana suffering from the same problems that we're suffering from. It's just that they have more gas. Why I think the people there, I think they're there because they like Guyana. They're there because Guyana has a great. If you look at all the world reports, Guyana is one of the places which will have the greatest increase in production over the next 5 years. Right, so it's considered one of the frontier territories. It is a frontier territory. It's big as England and it have 1 million people. You don't want to work that out? It's bigger than England. But England has 70 million people, Guyana 1. What does that tell you? That's virgin territory. Right? This is an opportunity. This has not, what taking place in Trinidad has nothing to do with it. Most people don't know, but Trinidad and Tobago has benefited from what is taking place in Guyana. We've not been benefited in mainstream. All the logistics to set up Guyana and Suriname are done right here in Trinidad and Tobago. And the companies that are doing it are keeping quiet, as they should. So, but what's taking place there have nothing to do with us. The point is their countries, their resources, and by the way, they have the same problems we do in terms of negotiating with the large energy sector companies, which is one of the reasons why Guyana will have a lot of money. Is Guyana getting what it ought to have gotten? The answer to that is no. Why? Because it didn't take advice and it didn't negotiate properly. So they gotta live with that. And the problem with those treaties, and the companies will always tell you, we operate on the basis of our agreed and negotiated contractual terms. You agree it, you have to live with it until we come to renegotiate it again. That is Trinidad and Tobago's issue in many of the difficulties that we find ourselves in, that our negotiations were pretty poor. Richard.
So in terms of the incentivizing that you suggested worked in terms of the some of the major players in the energy industry, is it that Trinidad and Tobago is now a depleted state in terms of commodities like natural gas and oil, or there is still potential in the deep waters and we need to just incentivize it more?
There is potential in the deep waters. Trinidad has explored approximately 40% of its total acreage, which means that there are possibilities of new finds. However, the cost of those finds is always going to be heavier, right? That's why it has been a cheaper option to go after Venezuelan gas. But that doesn't mean to say that the Venezuelans don't understand it. Right? The Venezuelans understand exactly what is taking place. And if it's in the ground still, it's my gas. I can exploit it when I want. I do not have to send it through you. Right? And some of the others seem to have forgotten that the Venezuelans have an interest in terms of their future as well.
So getting back to the incentivization, if you had to advise the government, would you say that they need to incentivize more?
Yeah, the answer is that is obvious, right? And the answer is that is quite clearly does Shell. I mean, look at Petrotrin. Petrotrin is a good example. Petrotrin is now approximately 70% of the reserves of the oil basin, right? But it can't drill. What does it do? It enters into a negotiated an arrangement with Shell to negotiate on its behalf. Well, what does that tell you?
Then they have to leverage whatever they have to maximize whatever options, resources they have.
The answer is that you're
in a bad negotiating position. That's what it does.
You're in a bad negotiating position and you have no capacity. That's the issue. Now, when we go through these cycles of down, up, and we let people go and so on, where do you think the people go? You think the people wait around to find out whether Trinidad is going to reopen and they will continue to live their lives? You can get on a plane to go anywhere. And you would meet people coming in from Peru, from Argentina, from Colombia, that's close, or from Kazakhstan, or from Russia, or from Saudi Arabia, for anywhere there are places, and they're all Trinidadians. Where are they working? Outside. One of my students who came up with a research project from my class on project finance to rival the latest opened DME plant. And he was arguing that this could be done by changing X, Y, and Z. I'm not going to say it over here. He And to me, he was working on the refinery project, and he had to make a decision. And he stopped consulting, not stopped talking to me eventually. And when next I looked for him, he was in Saudi Arabia. The people who were working with him on the plant in terms of the refurbishment of the plant basically picked him up and off he went. Right? So he's not, and as far as I know, he hasn't come back. Right? And that's
People
part of
got
the
him
problem.
there.
So when
Mariano, in the last 5 minutes, I know the media review is coming up. It's usually just a shifting of money here. Asking for more money for this. What are your expectations, if any, at all?
Nothing. I expect all. You all know what my position is already. I've told you all what my position is. I didn't tell you all this year. I told you all since 2016 what my position was. And you all kept telling me you hope not and you don't think that this will happen and so on and so forth. Well, here we are. What are you going to tell me now? I didn't know what I was talking about.
Well, we
are in
optimistic.
position. There are no short-term answers to this. Right? And you have to budget. The country has to wake up. We don't have as much money we have as before. We have enough money to live well and to live comfortably, but things are not going to be easy. And these are the things that we have to face up to now. That is the political difficulty. That is the language that has to be spoken about. That is what has to be lived. It's not just something that you're going to come and tell people, well, boy, we all have to make sacrifices. And then you run along and people don't see you as being part of the change process. You have to live it. You have to be part of the process.
And you have been very consistent in your assertion that there need to be structural changes and the administration needs to articulate the population and walk the walk of scaling back our lifestyle in Trinidad and Tobago. But then there are political consequences to that. And we seem to be in political cycle all the time in Trinidad and Tobago.
All right. Okay, so there's a political consequence to it. The moral of the story is the situation today is little different to the situation in 1986-87. We've moved from oil to gas. If the revenues are inconsistent, so we've been spending $50-60 billion under the UNC administration. UNC took advantage of the jump in oil prices between 2011 and 2014. The budget went up to $60 billion, virtually a 50% increase. Under Manning was approximately 40. All right. So when our income's a new government, they drop it down from 60 to 50, but the revenue is 32, 36, 37. Right? Maybe a maintainable number of approximately 42 billion, which is what I had calculated in 2009, 2010. Maintainable income of 42 billion. Well, that's the envelope. If that is the envelope, then that is what we have to live with. Right? Now, that means if from the day that you recognize you have a problem, that's when you start to begin thinking of what the solutions are. If you do not recognize it, and you continue to pussyfoot and play the political game, well, what do you think is going to happen? You think everybody's going to happen? Of course, people are going to become dissatisfied because they are not clear what the reality is. And we have to start off with realism. If we don't recognize this is what the reality is, we now have to change our habits, we have to change what we're doing, and we have to become more serious about other things, then everybody is always going to figure there's something else coming, and they could do it. They're just not telling us the truth.
Well, part of the conversation also is the general efficiency of the country vis-a-vis productivity, our competitiveness in terms of offering goods and services, and the speed at which we turn around things, and all those things seem not to be moving in the right direction.
So, and those are the matters that you have to play with. At the end of the day, the real resource of a country are its people, not oil and gas. You could have many places all over Africa and all over the world that have all kinds of natural resources, but they can't exploit them, and so some multinational come and does it for them. Why do you think that is so? Because the people haven't developed, they don't have the skills, they don't have the vision, they don't have the foresight. Why do multinational companies always end up on top? Because they have a concentration number of skills, services, and ideas that the local community does not. It's unequal exchange. And until you recognize that and you start operating in a different fashion, we will be plagued with issues.
Do you think our manufacturing sector...
manufacturing sector is less than 10% of GDP. There are certain segments of the manufacturing sector that have done very well, right? But some of them have also reached the stage, why invest anymore in Trinidad? right? They have at least 1 or 2 manufacturing companies here that have operations all over the world. Very successful. They are billionaires. Why would I invest more in Trinidad?
Is it that we've reached saturation point?
It has not really saturation. It has to do with the strength of a country. You can't have crime taking place all the time. You don't know who is going to hit my children, going to happen here. People make decisions on those margins, right? It's about safety and security of the person, safety and security of the family. That's where it starts, right? I am not going to be, because I'm making money, anything could happen. You could come after my family. The reality is when you come after my family and something happens in the family, what do? I get on a plane and I leave. Well, I don't want to wait to that point. So there are things that we have to do to sort our current environment out. Those are realities. You can't pussyfoot with them. You can't. And you ought not to.
Marion, thanks for being with us as usual. Appreciate you being with us and giving your contribution as usual.
Thank you very much for inviting me. I hope I've not been too realistic.
Well, you're always consistent with your realism. Don't do that everyone will say here, but we may hear the usual pushback before the week is out. It's early.
That's all right. I accustomed to that. But so far, the good thing about the long-term trend.
Hey, well, this consistency. Thanks a lot, man. Have a good day.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
All right. All the best, Mr. Brown.